Hello, fellow editors. My name is Eddie, and I am co-founder of MotionRay.com. Today, I have 5 really cool tips to help you edit faster in Premiere Pro. All right, here we go. Tip number 1, automate to sequence. Let's say you have a music track right here on your timeline. Let's listen to it. Cool, right? And you know when you listen to the music and your foot starts to tap or your head starts to bob a little, that's usually a good place to add a cut. So what I want to do is lay down some markers so that I know where those cuts will be. And to do that, all you have to do is hit home on the keyboard, right? Just to go to the beginning of the timeline. And now as I hit play, I'm going to hit the letter M on the keyboard to generate some markers on this timeline. So I know at the beginning, that's a pretty big hit, so I'm going to do the letter M right away at the beginning, and I have a marker there. Now I'm going to hit play, and every time I feel like I should tap my foot, right, that's when I'm going to hit the letter M on the keyboard. Here we go. There. All right, so let's see. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 shots. Okay, so I am going to first lock this music track because I don't want to do anything else to it, right? I'm pretty happy with that music track. So I'm going to hit home on the keyboard to go to the beginning again. And now I know that I have a folder here with some video, right? And I'm just going to select 6 shots, right? So I'm going to do this one over here. And if I hold command or control on a PC, I can select other shots. So I'm going to do that one and maybe this one. Let's do that and maybe that. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to do this one. That's going to be number 6. So now I'm going to click on this button over here that says automate to sequence. And you want to make sure this is set to at unnumbered markers. And you hit OK. And see, it automatically laid down shots right where those markers were. Let's hit play. Pretty cool, right? It laid down the shots in the sequence that I've selected them from the video, and it's a great way to get started on an edit. Let me cut this over here. I'm going to use this razor tool, and I'm going to cut that. Then I'm going to select this end over here and I'm going to hit delete. I'm also going to grab this audio that was laid down from these shots over here and also hit delete because I don't need those. Alright, tip number 2, swap clips. So I think this first shot over here would work a lot better if it was right before this shot over here towards the end. So if that means I would want to switch maybe this one over here with that one right at the beginning. And that can get kind of tricky, right? If I want to move this shot over there, I mean, you could do this. You could grab it and drag it over here. Then I would have to grab this shot and move it over here. Now I would have to move this over here and then move these forward so to make space for this other shot that I move over here. And it's just a really really weird way to take care of something like that. So let's just do, I just did undo, and all you have to do is just click and hold right on the shot that you want to move and do command and alt, and you just drag it to wherever you want. And I'm gonna let go now, right? And see, it moved these 2 shots back, but now if I want this one to be at the beginning, that's easy too. I'm just gonna do command and alt again. And by the way, if you're on a PC, it can be Control and Alt. So I'm going to drag this all the way to the back and let go and see, and now move these 2 shots forward. And now this shot is right before this shot, how I wanted it. Tip number 3, replace clip. Now I don't love this shot over here of this car, and I know that I can do a standard override if I pick a different shot and just override it with this one. But I want to show you how to do a replace clip, because what happens is if I have added some effects to this shot or some kind of motion to it or even transitions to it, if I just do a standard override over here, it will not keep those effects. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Like, let's just say I'm going to add some effect to this. Like maybe for some reason you decided to scale it down, right? And if I pick a different shot, let's just pick this first one over here and see there's these birds over here. What you want to do is you want to click and drag, and you want to hold Alt on your keyboard and then let go. And see, that replaced the clip but kept the motion that I had applied when I scaled it down. So that's pretty useful, because if you have applied all these filters and stuff to the shot, you don't want to have to lay it down and then copy and paste the filters, or even worse, just override it and not keep any of the filters that you had applied to that shot. Tip number 4, adjustment layers. Adjustment layers are awesome because you can apply effects to a bunch of clips at once. So let's do it. To apply an adjustment layer, you have to be on your project window, and then you got to go to File, New, and do Adjustment Layer. Click OK. Now let me move this over here to this track, to video 2, and I'm going to drag it all the way to the end because I want to apply an effect to every single clip. I think I want to apply a transform to this adjustment layer so that it affects all of these clips. So let's do this. Let's switch over to the effects tab over here. And now I'm going to twirl open this video effects folder over here and maybe go to distort, and let's use a transform. So I'm going to click on transform, and I'm going to drag it on top of the adjustment layer. So anything that I do to this transform is going to affect all of the clips down there. So let's go to the beginning, and let's just scale this uniformly, right, using the transform. And I'm going to scale this down. Hold on, let me move this over here a little bit. Let's scale it down a little bit more. And let's just make a keyframe there. Now I'm going to go to the end. Maybe not all the way to the end. Maybe just right before the last shot. And I'm going to put this back to 100. There, so I made 2 keyframes. And look what happens. Now, if this is further away, I think maybe I want a blur in there too. So let's go over here to the blur, and let's do a fast blur and drag that over on top of the adjustment layer. And you can see it's been added here. I'm going to maybe blur it there. I'm going to make a keyframe. And I'm just going to move forward a little bit to, like, maybe you see this first shot in full focus right away. Let's play that. Cool, now let's add some color to this. Let's make another adjustment layer. This time I'm going to go back to editing because I want to see the project window. And I'm going to do new, file, new, and I'm going to do another adjustment layer. And this time I'm going to drag the second one over here to video track number 3, and I'm going to drag it all the way to the end. And this time I'm going to apply some color to it. So let's go back to effects, right? And instead of the distort, I am going to go to color correction, and I'm going to use this Lumetri color and drag it over there. Now for basic color correction, I'm going to go to browse, and I'm going to pick one of our 10 free LUTs. This time I will use this edgy LUT. I'm going to click open, and see it applies kind of like this desaturated, kind of futuristic looking color. And what's great about an adjustment layer is that if you go over here to the opacity and you just bring that down. Oops, I made a keyframe there apparently. So I'm going to uncheck that because I don't want to have an animation. And just bring the opacity down on this adjustment layer. You can kind of control how much of that Lumetri filter is happening to our entire edit. So let's do that. I'm going to keep it there around 74. Let's play it. Let's play this thing again. Alright, that is adjustment layers. Let's move on to tip number 5, a better easy in. I have a logo over here that I'm going to drag to the beginning of this last shot. And look, it's our Motion Array logo. I'm going to scale it down a little bit, maybe like 60%. And when I'm editing, I like finding opportunities. And I think that this logo will look really good up here on the top. And maybe I just need to move this shot down a little bit. So I'm going to click on the shot and just bring it down somewhere around there maybe. And now I'm going to bring our logo up a little. And this laptop seems a little crooked, so I think I'm going to also maybe rotate it maybe one. Yeah, that's a little bit better. See how it's straight now? Now I'm going to bring all of these up a little. One track. Just to have room down here, because I created this color matte, which is the same color as the gray of the where the laptop sits. But you can see a little edge there, right? Now I'm going to click on this laptop, go to Effect, and just search for crop. There it is. I'm going to drag crop over the laptop. I'm going to use the top to crop to say 40. That might be too much, right? Let's do 30. And now I'm going to feather. And it just helps blend the background with the gray color matte that I laid down underneath. Alright, let's hit play. That's cool, right? So now I think what I want to do is maybe animate this logo in. Let's move up here. So what I want to do is maybe move forward a little bit where I want the logo to end. Maybe when after the hands come in, the logo comes into. Or as soon as the hands stop moving, then the logo stops moving. So I think it's right about here. I'm going to click over here on position. Then go to the beginning. And just move this up till it's off the screen. Let's hit play. Maybe our shot is too low. I think I'm going to bring it back up a little bit. So I'm going to go into Y and just bring it back up. And maybe our logo is landing too high also. So I am going to, let me move this over a little bit. With these, I can navigate through keyframes. So I'm going to click once over here to go to the last keyframe. And I am going to move it up a little bit. Let's hit play. So the logo is animating in, but it's hitting pretty hard at the end. To fix that, you could go up here and then right click on top of the keyframe and then go to temporal interpolation and do easy in. And that's going to look a little bit better. But what I like to do, twirl this open and drag this handle to the left. And that's going to give you a super smooth stop, which is usually what you want. Much better. That looks pretty good. Let's watch this whole thing. Alright, thank you so much for watching. If you have a question, don't forget to leave a comment below. I will also provide links to this project and our free LUTs also. Hope you find this stuff useful. Thank you.